Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 8. I can't believe we are this far into the season. It don't feel like anything really has happened. I mean, I guess the talk of the show is Tiffany right now, but yeah. I know that the Detroit starts June, I think the second week of June, second Saturday in June, or it might be the first Saturday. But anyway, um, are they going to be taking, is this show taking a hiatus? Or like, they going to take their break like they normally do? I'm assuming like at episode 10, they're going to take a break and give us the other second half, or, give us the other second half later. Or are they continuing on with both Huntsville and Detroit? Any of you guys know that? I'm sure the way you guys keep up with this show, somebody knows. Y'all let me know. Also, before I get started, you guys know that me and Joe did our power review together. We did it in 2 parts. Yeah, not the most ideal situation, but I do want to help him try to get his numbers up. So, if you guys do watch the power review, I know it's a little bit of an inconvenience to have to click off of one video and go to the next, but that was the only way that we could figure out the easiest way to do it and kind of not really guarantee, but almost guarantee that people will watch both of the videos and we'll both get the view time. So that's it. Just want to tell y'all, thank y'all for that. And then with no more further ado, the review. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, I have to hold the phone because I couldn't find my setup this morning. But anyway, I'll try to keep the phone as steady as I can. So the show starts with Mel. We see Mel. She is working in her element. You guys know that her and Martel, before they broke up, they had their business together with real estate. She does property preservation, and she had to, make the choice to continue that business without Martel after the divorce. And she seems to be very knowledgeable about it. So she likes to also mentor or, counsel or just give the information out to people that are getting in the business. While she's out there talking to them, Kimmy shows up. She's happy to see Kimmy. And she sends the guys inside so that they can maybe just look around and see what else, they might find on their own, take some pictures of it with their phone, make some notes. And so then when they leave, there's one guy that's left. I think she said his name was Keith. Keith is a closer. I think he looks like because I think she said that he has closed over 400 closings. And so Mel had been wanting to put Kimmy in touch with this guy because Kimmy is in real estate as well. That maybe they could hook up together. So, Mel's going to put them in contact. But anyway, that guy goes off. So now it's just Kimmy and Mel. Kimmy tells us that she tries to be pragmatic about her life right now. Obviously, her health is the first thing that she has to tend to, first thing on the list. But also she wants to get back to work. She's probably taken some time off since she had been sick. And so now that she's feeling better, she's ready to get back to it. Anyways, you guys, they haven't seen each other since the tea. Kimmy was asking Mel how she felt about it. Mel said she felt good about the tea. How about Kimmy? And Kimmy said, yeah, she did enjoy the tea. But she was a little like, did you know that Stormy and Stormy's mom was going to be coming up there and, acting the way that they did? Nope, Mel didn't see that one coming. She didn't really even know Stormy's mom. But she definitely didn't know that Stormy was bringing her mother. But yeah, she didn't expect that. But you know what? Mel keeps it cute, doesn't say anything negative about it. Kimmy was just like, yeah, that was a shocker. And then, of course, Tiffany and Kiki, they don't seem to have worked out their issues as well. And Mel was like, well, see, that's funny because after the tea, we all got together. And so, they was kind of able to hash it out and work through some things. Kimmy is telling her that she saw them at Martel's upscale cover party. And it looks like maybe they still working on it. She was just like, I'm not going to go into it, what happened at Martel's thing, because Mel has already made it very clear that she doesn't need to know. So she's going to respect that. I'm like, finally. Okay, because everybody we used to love, and Kimmy was one of them too, used to love to come back and tell Mel what happened. So I'm glad that, she's kind of gotten through to everybody that she don't need to know that shit. Ooh, I feel like I'm a sneeze. Anyways, Mel tells her, well, hopefully, that they were able to get it together, even at Martel's event, or maybe hopefully they're working on it to get it together. So Kimmy was telling her how, she's trying to keep her life very stress-free. Of course, she's paying attention to her health, but she don't need to have nothing else to get her more upset. Mel understands totally. Mel was like, I'm proud of you. You don't look like nothing you've been through. You still been persevering. You still been out here beautiful and doing what you got to do. And, Kimmy, like I said, she's feeling better. Yeah, she is stressed a little bit, though, because Monster and Maurice, they about to put her, they run her pressure. So this... working back in real estate, it kind of takes Kimmy's mind off of it, so she has something else to focus on. And like I said, Mel tells her, you got this, girl. You've been blessed. This cancer thing is almost over. So, good for you. Mel is happy to see where Kimmy has landed. So later on, we see Kimmy at the house with Maurice. They're talking about Martel's event. Did she enjoy it? She said, yeah, she did enjoy it. She was actually shocked that Sheree was more quiet than she expected. You see people on TV, you see what their personalities are like. And, I was just like, well, I mean, she didn't know nobody. First of all, Sheree had to know that she was, at least one person was going to, well, not necessarily know how she was going to be approached, but I think she was probably even more guarded because she didn't really know what people were going to come at her with, and of course, like I said, she didn't know nobody there, so it wasn't like she was going to come in there being a nuisance, like trying to act like she knew somebody, because we was going to see right through that as well. So no, I guess I didn't expect Sheree to act any differently than she did act. If you ask me, Sheree did much better than a lot of people would have done in them same circumstances. So yeah, Maurice was like, yeah, real life and TV personality, sometimes they're two totally different things. Martel, though, Martel had a great time. And he even felt like Martel doted on Sheree. And she was like, you felt like he was doting? She was like, I mean, Martel's a gentleman. He's always going to be looking out. He's always like, even when she's out and he'll stop on the street and help her get something out of her car if he sees, a woman struggling. That's just how Martel is. So she don't know if Martel was doing anything any more special than he normally would with any woman. Now, while they're in there talking, Monster joins them. He sits down and he's talking to him, and we find out that Maurice sent Monster to boot camp because Monster just wasn't quite doing what he needed to do on his end to be the best version of himself. Okay. And so, yeah, boot camp. What is boot camp? Well, we asked Monster, and Monster was just like, well, you get up at 5 a.m. And Maurice was like, that's it? And he was like, I mean, that's all he can remember. And the boy was like, I don't know what else happened in the day, but all he knows is that 5 o'clock be a killer. Maurice was like, no, it's more than that. He gets up at 5, he works out, we sit down, we talk about, how he can have a successful day. He goes to school, we make sure that he gets his work done, blopty blue. Okay. Kimmy's like, oh, that's great. That's great that you made school a priority. Okay, now what exactly do y'all do for the chores? Because that's what Kimmy would like to see more out of Monster. And, well, she ain't heard nobody mention nothing about chores. Well, that's because ain't nobody thought about chores. Monster's ultimate goal is to keep a 3.0 grade point average so he can get a full scholarship to Ohio State to play football. Very, very specific, okay? Kimmy was just like, yeah, like I said, I don't hear nothing about no damn chores. All of that is important, but Kimmy is concerned about what happens in this house. So Maurice was like, well, we made a list of like all the things that was important. Monster, go get the list. Go get the list. I'm sure the chores made the list somewhere. Yeah, Kimmy's like, yeah, go get that list. Let's see what it says. Okay, because she can bet her bottom dollar already that chores ain't on there. So anyway, Monster, go get the paperwork, come on back, sit down. We looking at the list. Anything about chores, dishwasher, washing clothes, cleaning the house, clean the bathroom, kitchen. Yeah, none of that. Kimmy was like, yeah, she's not surprised because you guys don't care about that. And Maurice feels like, no, it's not that he doesn't care. He just feels like chores is a given. And I mean, I guess anything would be a given if you do it. But if you don't do it, then it's not a given. Obviously, that means that Monster has not put it in his mind to even, to even get to the chores because it's not a priority. Like Kimmy said, like you got a list of 20 things. Obviously, chores is not on there. 20 things come before you doing your chores. That's the problem right there. So yeah, well, Maurice was like, chores is just second nature. You're supposed to get up and do the chores. I mean, I feel like we talking in circles because yeah, we do know that, but it's not happening. So it's not second nature. It's not a given. Monster did say it's not that he don't care about what Kimmy says. It's just that he'll get distracted and he forgets. Okay, it's called being a teenager. They do that. So you do have to constantly remind them. But the fact that Monster is not Kimmy's kid, she doesn't feel like she doesn't feel comfortable even writing him that way. That's something that your father do. I put the rule in place. You don't do it. Your dad needs to come in and reinforce it. Okay. I'm sure she probably was a little harder on her own child, but this is not her child. So she's trying to implore Maurice to help her out here. Basically, they take Kimmy for granted. And a lot of women can relate to that. I'm sure a lot of men think that the women's role in the house is to clean the house, So it just kind of depends on how you run your household. Like, I don't mind cleaning my house, okay? Because I know I'm going to do it the way that I want it done. But in return, I don't feel like cooking. I'm not cooking. I expect Mr. to take care of the outside of the house, like the lawn and all of that shit. I don't mind any of that. Cleaning, washing clothes, like I'm all day. I'm good. Okay, I'll handle it. But baby, don't ask me to cook nothing in that kitchen. I just hate cooking. And now that the kids are older, it's just like, no. And then they know that I don't really cook. I'm not no good cook. So, half the time the kids don't even want to eat my food. So like what I'm cooking for, Mr. might pick up something on his way home from work or something. So yeah, but it just all depends on what works in your household. Now, Kimmy is important that Monster handles the chores. So they're going to have to work that out. Now let's jump over to Tiffany. So Tiffany tells us that she doesn't really know where she stands with Kiki. She thought that everything was good or that they was working on everything being good when her and Kiki met up met up at Mel's house that time. But then when they got to Martel's thing and then Stormy came and was stirring up all of the extra trouble and, all that, she was just like, yeah. So now she's invited Stormy out for coffee so that Stormy can explain herself. Honey, that Tiffany is something special this season. I was like, yeah, I am so over Tiffany. So over Tiffany. But anyway, Tiffany does understand the assignment though, doesn't she? So they sit down and they're talking. And she tells her how she was having such a great time, at Martel's. Her and Kiki had gotten through some things with Mel. And then when, she got to this party, Stormy had whipped up all of the mess again. And Stormy was just like, yeah, because I believe that everything needs to be on the table. Okay, Stormy's whole view of life is you can't even move forward unless you deal with the past. Okay, if you just keep on acting like nothing happened in the past, you know what? Eventually it's going to rear its ugly head. So we might as well just talk about it now. I mean, I guess I can appreciate that part. But Stormy was being messy because it was just sort of like them girls wasn't there to talk about it then. So like, why bring it up now? But I guess Stormy was like, we got a damn show to film. But Stormy feels like they'll get there. She was just like, Kiki, she is a good spirit. Like they did Reiki together and, she was working through everything. So she thinks that Tiffany and Kiki are going to be fine. She's good energy. Don't write her off. You guys are going to be friends. Maybe you guys just need more one-on-one time, kind of like the time that you had when you was sitting and talking to Sheree at Martel's party. How did that go? She says, well, she thinks that it went really well. She asked her some questions, how she felt about Mel, had she met Mel yet? And she said she hadn't met Mel. And, she was just like, and, if you're going to be around my kids, like, yeah, of course you should meet her. And Stormy was listening to her. She was just like, ooh, Tiffany, honey, you took on a lot. You was asking her all that. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I mean, I guess you needed to know. Yes, Tiffany needed to know. I mean, wouldn't you want to meet the woman if you and Courtney weren't together anymore? And Stormy was just like, I mean, I don't think I would. She was like, but I don't know. It just depends. She was like, I mean, if it was the one, yeah, I would need to meet her. But You know, if it's just some woman that he's seeing, first of all, I would hope that he's not even bringing the kids around. You know, he wouldn't even be he wouldn't be bringing these kids around some woman that he's not really serious about. And that's Tiffany's point. You know, is Sheree the one? And Stormy was just like, I guess she could be. I don't think that she is, but it's not impossible. So then Stormy says, well, do you think that Mel would want to meet Sheree? And Tiffany was just like, I've never really even talked to Mel about Sheree. And Stormy was like, okay, so why are you talking to Sheree about Mel? And I was like, thank you. Like, it was funny because Stormy was eating the whole time, but she was saying all the things that I was thinking. But honey, I gotta hand it to Tiffany, honey. Tiffany was not knocked off of her square at all. Tiffany was just like, yeah, because she's new to the group and I wanted to know. Okay, I wanted to know how it felt to, be with a cheater. And she was just like, you asked her that? And she was like, I did. That's a whole lot to ask somebody, that you don't even know. So then Tiffany tells her how Sheree told her that Mel had came to her book signing when she was in Birmingham one year, her and little Martel. That means that Mel is a fan. And she was just like, Stormy was just looking at Tiffany. She was just like, yeah, doesn't that mean, who stands in line for hours to get a book signature? You must be a fan. First of all, who knew if Sheree even had a line for hours to get books signed? And just like Stormy said, she probably was just trying to support because she was in Birmingham. Didn't have nothing to, she obviously didn't have no idea that Sheree would end up with Martel. That damn Tiffany is a fucking mess. And can say it, honey, just roll right off the tongue like water off a duck's back, huh? That bitch is something else. I'm gonna tell you what, I don't give a fuck that Tiffany is pregnant. Tiffany is a rude ass bitch. And I don't want to hear nobody in my damn comments taking up for Tiffany just because they don't like Martel. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Yeah, Martel has done a whole lot of wrong in his life, but that Tiffany is a rude ass bitch. She is wrong. You should not be approaching somebody that you don't know, ain't did nothing to you, and asking these old offensive ass questions and then expect an answer, with a straight ass face. I'd have cussed Tiffany out. I'm telling you, I'm not a fighter, but I know how to cuss a bitch out. She would have got it. Anyway, Tiffany was just like, well, you talked to Mel, have you talked to her about it? And she was just like, I don't talk to Mel like that. And that's fine with Stormy. She did get her validation, the fact that a stranger could pick up when they was at the etiquette party, a stranger could pick up that there was tension between the two of them. So she knows that is not the same as it used to be, and she's fine with that. Tiffany was just like, well, just take one day at a time. Maybe you guys need some one-on-one time. Maybe you can talk at my baby shower. My baby shower is coming up on Saturday. Stormy's going to be there. Mel's going to be there, so we'll see. Later on, we see Tiffany and Lou. Finally seeing Lou. I was just like, is the nigga still around? Okay. Well, I'm sure it take a whole lot to be married to Tiffany. But anyway, they're at a doctor's appointment. They're getting their 3D ultrasound done, looking at the baby or whatever. And, that's all exciting. So once they finish with the doctor, they're sitting and talking, and Tiffany is telling him how she wants to keep her schedule just the same way that it was. Okay. Lou, of course, wants her to slow down. And she was just like, no, I feel like I'll be depressed if I did slow down. Like, I feel like I should be able to still work. She don't plan on taking maternity leave, like that, and she's just gonna keep on going. She was just like, honey, it's just gonna be me and the baby now instead of just me having to go to work and do all that. And Lou was just like, okay, she's saying all that, but when little baby Ace make it here, I said, another Ace. When little baby Ace makes it here, he'll slow that ass down. I guess we'll just have to see. Lastly, we see Martel. Martel is at Black. Okay, he said that, him and Marceau, they have this agreement that he is going to help Marceau work out and Marceau is going to help him study. So they're supposed to be studying. I said, at Black? Who studies at a fucking lounge? Okay? Nigga, you ain't serious about this. Can you find somebody, pay him to take the damn test, get your name put on the... It's obviously very hard to do that. Otherwise, I'm sure he'd have done it by now. He was like, please be serious, Marceau, with your fat ass. I was just like, oh, Marceau's not fat. Even though he did have on that man girdle with the fight last season. Anyways, Martel tells Marceau that Tiffany is coming by because they're going to talk about Selma. And he was like, what's going on in Selma? So he has some event. Was it a parade or something that's happening down in Selma that Martel is going to be at? And I guess Tiffany just had some thoughts about it that she wanted to share. But we know why Martel wants to talk to Tiffany. So, Tiffany shows up and they like, hey, there's the two of you. And, she was just like, oh, I just don't know why people always refer to me as two people. Well, because you have a baby in your stomach. Okay, that's a person in there. So, yeah, you're two now. Hey, how's everything going? Well, people just want me to slow down. They want to put me on bed rest. And Marceau was like, oh, no, you got to keep moving. Is that what you told your wife? Okay, you don't want your wife to work. But now you up here telling this pregnant lady that she needs to keep moving. That Marceau full of shit. Did you enjoy the upscale event? She did. How about you, Martel? He was like, I had a great time. But, it's funny, some stuff happened that Sheree told me about, that I kind of wanted to talk to you about. Okay, what is that? Yeah, Sheree said that you was kind of rude to her. And, he was just surprised that it was coming from Tiffany. And she was looking at him and she was just like, her expression on her face was like, what, you forgot I was messy? She even said something along the lines like, you forgot, like you didn't think that I would ask her the questions that matter? Yeah, Martel obviously forgot. So anyway, they're talking and Marceau was like, hello, what happened? Like, can you enlighten me? Sure. So what did you say exactly, Tiffany? Tiffany's like, well, I just said, how does it feel coming into the group? Her being new around everybody. Then I asked her, how does it feel to date a cheater? And Martel was like, what? You asked her that? And Martel was like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, wait a minute. I got to ask this question. You asked her if I was a cheater, how she felt dating a cheater, but didn't you cheat? And she says, yes, I cheated. He says, and are you a cheater? And then, no, I'm not a cheater. He says, I'm not a cheater either. Okay, I cheated. You cheated. Marceau couldn't believe that she asked her that. Even throughout the whole thing about, your pussy can't keep this woman in line. And Marceau was just like, what? Yeah, Martel was like, yeah, she said that. Like, as educated as you are, you couldn't think of any kind of other way to word that. You had to say it to her like that. I guess Tiffany felt like that's the only way that Sheree was going to understand what she was talking about. So now Tiffany gets in the confessional and she's mad that Martel is confronting her about this. Now, she said that she didn't come down there to hear this. This is not what they were supposed to be talking about. I was just like, Tiffany, you can keep them fucking indignant ass feelings to your damn self, bitch. Your ass is sitting up here asking all these rude ass questions to somebody. You putting so many people on the spot with a straight ass face, no fucking problem with it. But then you sit up here and have a problem with Martel asking you questions that you actually asked. And because you didn't come there to fucking talk about that, you think that this nigga's supposed to sit up here and cater to you and just talk about Selma when there's a bigger elephant in the room? Bitch, fuck you. No, we gonna talk about this. And listen, I don't give a damn, like I said, that Tiffany is pregnant. The bitch can get cussed out with the quickness. And I don't want to hear nobody talking about how Martel and Marceau was wrong for ambushing this girl. First of all, Marceau didn't really even know what the hell was going on until, they got there. But Martel confronting Tiffany, he had every single right to do that. He wasn't rude to her. He didn't yell at her. He didn't threaten her. He was asking her why she would say those things. And bitch, you was so big and bad to say it that day. Why we just can't say it again today? Okay? Just now replace Sheree with Martel. You didn't have no problem doing it then, so why you got a problem doing it now? I don't feel sorry for her. I'm not mad that a man confronted her. And even if Lou was not around, okay? I'm tired of people feeling like men can't talk to women. Like, what fucking world do we live in? You insult a man as a woman, you think that man is not going to want to come back to you and defend themselves? I get sick of people. I've been watching the comments. I get tired of people thinking that Tiffany, now, is it funny and is it entertaining? That might be what it is for the show. But in real life, I get tired of people taking up for Tiffany just because they don't like Martel. Y'all know that girl is wrong doing the shit that she's doing. Only because it's coming at Martel is why people is a little bit more okay with it. But that shit is not okay. Martel, what he did wasn't okay. And what Tiffany is doing right now is not okay. If she want to sit there and talk the way that she talk and she got a full ass baby in her stomach, then if she don't care about it, then why the hell should I? Okay? Ain't nobody was hauled off and hit her. So that's all people need to be concerned about. But yeah, she can get talked to from a man for the shit that she said about him. I don't want to hear it. Marcel was like, so you was asking all these questions. What was you going to do with this information? Well, she just wanted to know. Okay, well. You got the info. You feeling better about it now? I guess Tiffany said, honey, she's as long as she's securing her spot on this show, yeah, she's feeling better. All right, you guys, let me get on off of here, get this edited, and up to you. Make sure that you thumbs up the video, comment, subscribe to this channel. If you haven't already, I'm itsrox. The channel is itsrox. Everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, rock stars.